Hi guys. Today we're going to be talking about world mythology, a book by Mark Daniels. And the interesting fact about this book is that this book has mythologies of different cultures, basically. The one thing that I was surprised is that it did not have Indian mythology, which I was sad about. But obviously, I did grow up with that, so I wasn't really missing anything. But the book had basic information of the biggest mythologies from around the world. And um, the interesting fact is that it wasn't too brief or too long, just the, the important moral of the story, moral of each myth, and the basic details. It did not involve too many characters into the mythology, but it did try to bring in the stories with the biggest impact, basically. And which was good because you know how in a mythology usually the biggest stories seem to have the biggest cultural impact, and I think he just figured out which ones were the biggest, and then he tried to just put that in the book, basically, and which I was a fan of, because when you try to put different mythologies in the same book, I think you would really risk confusing the reader. And I feel like this book didn't do that too much because, as a personally at least, if you introduce too many characters into the book, I'm gonna be confused. And this book wasn't really doing that, which I really appreciate the author for that. And apart from that, um, it was a good read, and because, like for example, some of the stories, the mythologies, basically, like I didn't know who the Incans were, and I didn't know much about the Mayans, and these stories actually gave me a good insight of those cultures and what those beliefs were. And when I started reading about these cultures and these mythologies, I felt like all of these stories try to bring about the same kind of messaging. Uh, because I've read somewhere about how mythologies are are just like a like a storyline that keeps repeating itself over and over again. It's like the gist of a recurring pattern in the human psyche that keeps happening over and over again, and it's like the essence of that pattern is is just put into a story. That's what a mythology is, and it kind of made sense because the mythology seemed to resemble a lot in some sense. That's what I feel at least. And this book, having all these different stories in one book, really helped realizing that in a certain way. And but yeah, it was a really good read, and I would suggest everyone to read it. And yeah, it was a good read. Thank you. Bye bye.